Good morning, my lovely students. How are you today? In this session, we are going to study the second objective in our lesson, which is to recognize the function of the skeleton. Function, which is role. Okay, يعني شو دوره الskeleton. In this document, we have the skeleton of a cat. Let's observe it. This is a cat skeleton. What's the skeleton of a cat made up of, in your opinion? Of course, the skeleton, any skeleton, is made up of bones. Okay? What permits the cat to stand up? شو الشيء اللي بيخليها للكات تحرك? To move and stand up? Of course, the bones of its skeleton. And as we studied in the previous lesson, we have studied about vertebrates and invertebrates. Okay? The vertebrates are the animals with a skeleton and with a vertebral column. So the cat is a vertebrate animal because it has a skeleton and a spinal cord which allows it to move and stand up. Now let's complete the following conclusion. We can conclude from this figure that the bones of the skeleton support the body. So the skeleton is a support system. Okay? The bones support the body هن اللي بيدعموا جسمنا وبيخلوه يحرك because also as humans we have a skeleton and we have studied about the parts of our skeleton. So the bones of the skeleton support the body of humans or animals. So the skeleton is a support system because without bones or without the skeleton our body will collapse. We can't even move, we can't stand up. Okay? Now let's observe this document. In this document there are three groups of bones: the skull, the rib cage, and the vertebral column. The skull is a group of bones where one of its functions is to protect the brain. So we can say that the skull protects the brain. Okay, the brain is the delicate organ which is found in the head, and the function of the skull is to protect the brain. Now let's look at the rib cage. The rib cage is a group of bones of the thorax. It consists of 12 pairs of ribs. Okay? Ribs يعني rib يعني ضلع. It consists of 12 pairs. Pairs يعني two. Okay? 12 pairs of ribs, and it has also here in the middle the sternum. This is called the sternum and this is the rib. The rib cage has a function which is to protect the lungs and heart. In the thorax, as you know, we have lungs and heart, which are delicate organs, and they are protected by the rib cage. So we can say that the rib cage protects the lungs and the heart, and the rib cage is consisted of 12 pairs of ribs and a sternum. Okay, now let's go to the vertebral column. The vertebral column is a group of 33 bones. These bones are called vertebrae. So the vertebral column is made up of 33 vertebrae. Okay, يعني فقرات. The vertebral column is crossed by a canal called the spinal canal, in which is housed the spinal cord. Housed يعني its house is the spinal canal. The house of the spinal cord is the spinal canal. Okay? And the function of the vertebral column is to protect the spinal cord. Okay? So we can say that the function of the skull is to protect the brain, the rib cage protects the heart and the skull, and the vertebral column protects the spinal cord. So we can say that the rib cage is made up of 12 pairs, the vertebral column is made up of 33 vertebrae, and the canal that crosses the vertebral column is called the spinal canal يلي هي بتحتوي على الspinal cord. We can say that the skull protects the brain, the rib cage protects the lungs and the heart, and the vertebral column protects the spinal cord. You should memorize this information. Okay? What does each set of bones protect which organ? Okay? Let's complete this conclusion. Certain groups of bones, such as the skull, the rib cage, and the vertebral column, protect certain organs of the body. So the skeleton plays a role or plays a protective role. Other than the supportive role, it plays a protective role. So we can say that the skeleton supports and protects our body. Okay? Now let's read the conclusion together. The skeleton is a set of bones of the human body. It consists of three parts, as we said, the head, the trunk, and the limbs. The bones of the skeleton are related to each other. They are articulated between each other. The skeleton is a system of support and protection. The skull protects the brain, the rib cage protects the lungs and the heart, the vertebral column protects the spinal cord. Finally, I want you to practice more by solving page 150 on your books, but please pay attention. Here we have bones of the forearm. In the forearm we have two bones, so here you have to write two bones of the forearm, and here in the leg also we have two bones, so you have to write two bones of the leg. Here it's written knee and foot, and here you have to write only bone of the knee and foot bones. Okay? Send me your answers. I'm waiting for you. Stay safe and take care.